Okay, so for this milestone, there's a couple things that I have added and moved. Just for the sake of showing you, I kept most of it the same as the initial code that I sent you from last month. I know I didn't talk in it, but I had it in here. So in my main activity, the way it works is I have one main activity and I'm using fragments for all of my others. So each of these fragments have their own life cycle. And the way I had it initially is my map. I was using this support map fragment, which you can find over here. This is all using the support map fragment. Basically what I was doing was I was launching the map on the main activity right away. So what I did was, instead of having all of this on connected, this on location change, Google API client, on map ready, all of this stuff comes part of using that support map fragment, and it's part of Google API they have something already installed that you can just pull up a map within a fragment. So I kept it here just to show you that this is where it was, and this is where I moved it. So I created a fragment in and itself, and what's going to happen is when you launch the main activity, it's actually going to right here. So this is how it used to be. This would start our map fragment immediately using the main activity. This line of code right here. So what I did now, instead of doing this and the support map fragment, I moved it all into a fragment class itself, so it was more consistent with how everything else was. So as soon as the application launches, it opens up it replaces the fragment in my fragment container with my map fragment, which is right here. And this is handling all of my bottom navigational drawer stuff. So once again, like when the map is clicked on, it will open the map, which is this. And I kept it commented so you could see what I changed. This is how it used to be, and this is how it is now. It just looks cleaner and it's easier to read. It's more consistent with the other ones. So that's basically the gist of what I changed in my main activity. In my maps fragment now. So the way it works is it implements this on map ready callback when you open this map fragment, and what that does is it's basically like this gets called as soon as the map is ready within the fragment. And all of those same functions and methods that I used in main, I basically just moved over here and refactored it so it would work within a fragment instead of within an activity. I will expand all of these so you can see them if you're interested. So I'm getting permissions. This is all standard stuff that you have to do if you want to, if the user wants to use the map, if I want the user to use the map. I added a little toast here. This is just for me. It'll toast if they deny their location, it'll say unable to get their location. I also had a toast here that I got rid of because it was becoming annoying. Every time the map camera is ready and it's going to move, I was just going to say, I'm looking for your location. This is a little method that I created by myself. All it does is it checks this. You need to check permissions in order to get location all the time. So I checked the permission real quick. I added a location listener because there is a button that I added right here. So I'm opening my XML. It looks very plain because it's all done in text. You can't actually drag a button onto this support map fragment. So here's the support map fragment, and it won't let you just drag and drop. So you have to actually program it in. So I programmed a button that shows up right here that you might see, or you may have already seen in the showcase for Milestone 1, and that button is connected to this. So every time the button is clicked, it grabs my location, the user's current location, and it will drop a marker there. Some other things that I did, I just need to find exactly where it is. Here it is. So for the map, they have just a few little things that you could enable, and so I enabled the compass, which is initially when you put a Google Map into your thing and you have your location set, it'll just be a blue dot. The compass has a little triangle that shows what direction that you're facing, so I added that in. And this map toolbar enabled is like the ultimate cheat for me because it's exactly what I need. When you create a marker and you click on a marker, it'll display a little toolbar at the bottom right that allows the user to navigate to that location. And it translates the longitude and latitude into an actual address. So that's really nifty because later on down the line, as these markers get dropped and populated in the map, people can click on them and go to them without having to figure out how to get there. So that's really nice. Some other things that I did was my home fragment was pretty empty, and I added a list. So right now it's hard coded. I don't have a database. I'm going to be working on that this coming week, but for right now it's hard coded in. I just add 10 spots to make sure that it's scrollable, and it is. And this took a while. I know it looks small, but it took me a while to understand how to click on the list items and have it open in another fragment with the list's string attached to it. So like you click on spot 1, another fragment opens with spots 1 information. So what I did was I just implemented this little method that you could find in main activity here at the bottom, and that's exactly what it does. It grabs the information from the home list fragment and passes it on to the home list expanded. So that's just a tiny little thing that I did in home fragment. They all have this inflator to inflate the view, so this isn't really anything different. This is all aesthetic stuff, which isn't too important. This is just for changing the color of this because it wasn't readable at first. Home list expanded, all it's doing is it is taking the information like I just... Oh, okay, I think we just covered this. I'm sorry. Yeah, we just covered this. Dashboard is still empty, however, I didn't do anything with my dashboard yet. I would run this to show you. Actually, I guess I can run it to show you. Our map won't be working. So let's go into our main activity real quick. On create, let's change this to this. It'll open the dashboard first. Let's run it. So in this run through, this isn't my showcase. I hope you watched my video showcase. This is just showing you the list stuff. Make sure I'm still recording. Okay, so our emulator's opening. Here it is. Let's see if it loads our app. And while we're waiting, just to clarify things, I am still using my phone to show you and a screen recorder on my phone because I can't get Google Maps to work on here. I don't know if you noticed, but when I launched the emulator, I launched it with... I created a new emulator with Google Maps API, and it still doesn't like it for whatever reason. I didn't want to waste too much time worrying about that when I can just test it on my phone, so I just didn't really pursue looking into it. Kind of a long time. I'm just gonna open up. Oh, but these are opening up on the map, which is what we don't want. Okay, I'm gonna... I just gotta let it do its thing. There it goes. Okay. Okay, cool. Sorry about the delay. So it did what we wanted it to do. So over here, all I did was I changed it from opening our map fragment, which is what I changed because it wouldn't work in the emulator, to our dashboard fragment, which will work and not destroy our app. And this is our list, which is what I was trying to show you. So I have the list, which is now scrollable, which is nice. That's what we want. I have a little placeholder image here, and it's white on white for right now. You cannot see it, but it does say spot 1 right here and spot 3. And all of these do work. I just have to play around with the fonts because I downloaded a font. So this is the list. Eventually... Oh, it wanted to work for a second. Works on my phone. So eventually, when you drop a pin, it will allow you to... It'll populate the list because it'll pull it from a database, and you'll be able to click on these markers and take you to where you need to go. So that was my code explanation for this week. Next week, I'm going to be working on the database, and I will be... I'll make a little list. Android Studio likes to blow my computer up from time to time. Well, in any case, I'll be working on my database, and I'll be working on implementing, populating it with the custom marker positions users drop. So thanks for watching, and I will post more next week.